Hi, everybody. So, I've been receiving a lot of questions, a lot of people calling me to ask how to do certain things on Google Classroom. So, I decided just to make a quick video to show you a little bit of the fundamentals of Google Classroom and answer quite a few questions that I've heard from people multiple times. So, first, if you've not yet created a Google Classroom, what you're going to do is you're going to click this plus sign in the corner and press create. Now, I'm doing this on a separate account just so I can show you from square one how to actually go through the whole process of making it and organizing it. So, start off, you want to make sure your class is named whatever you want it to be called so that the kids know what they're entering. So chances are you're probably going to want to put your subject in the top. For me, what I do is I do a 5th grade class and a 6th grade class because it makes less classes that I need to post into, but I know some teachers prefer to have one for each class to make it a little bit easier for them when they're grading in the end. So for right now, I'm just going to name this science, and I'm not going to go through the whole rigmarole of creating sections and subjects. So it takes a second for it to create it. Let's hope it actually, there we go. So when you're done, when we're in school, what I typically do at the beginning of the year when I'm getting the kids used to how to use technology and everything, one of the first things I do is have the kids all join my Google Classroom. Now to do that, what I do is I just click this, and this is the class code that they need to enter to put in. Since right now we are at home, and the kids aren't there for us to easily display the class code for them to join, what I'm going to recommend doing is clicking on the People tab, and down here at the bottom, you're going to click this little person with the plus sign, and what you'd do is you'd type in the student's email address. So you could do it just by typing their name. So if I wanted to look up someone named Adam, I would type Adam. Since this is not a school account, it will not come up in the search results, but if you're in the school system, it will come up with a bunch of kids' names. And then all you need to do is click invite, and it'll show up down here as a gray circle if they have not yet accepted the invitation. So as you can see, this is a very bare Google Classroom right now. If you want to make the top, so since I said this was a science class, it showed up with a science theme, but you could also go in and select your own themes. They've got English, math, art, whatever you want to use for it. You could also instead upload a photo. So in one of my classes I have a picture of, one of my past classes I had a picture of our class up there at the top, just so it created a little bit more community within our class. So on the stream, this is kind of like the old Facebook platform, where as things are posted, they'll pop up down here. So if I type in here, you guys can see I can type a message and it will go to all students. If you did not want it to go to all students and only wanted to show up on certain students, what you'd have to do is click down here and you'd click this off and select the specific students you wanted to see the announcement. When you're in here, you can also add something from your Google Drive, which is easily accessible. You can add links, which will automatically link students to another website. You can upload files, so if you're trying to send out like a worksheet or a flyer for something that you want to advertise, like the Mosaic literacy thing that we were told about last week, you could click the file and do that, or you can link a YouTube video to show up immediately in your class. Additionally, instead of just if you press post, it'll post it immediately for the students, or you can schedule it to be posted at a different time or day. So the stream is pretty simple. Unless you want to turn it off in your settings, anyone can comment on the stream at any given time. So I'm just going to discard that because I don't actually want to post anything. The next part, classwork section. This is where I always start by telling my kids where they need to go. So in the classwork section, you're going to go under the Create tab, and you have a couple different options for things that you can create. If you create a question, it will just show up and the students are going to type their answers in the box. If you create a quiz assignment, it'll open up a blank quiz in Google Forms, which you can go in and create a quiz. What's nice about Google Forms is it actually goes through and it will grade things for you if you put it in as a quiz. So if I put what color is the sky, you can put it as a multiple choice question, or you can put it as a short answer or a paragraph. There's all sorts of different ways that you can do this, and you can play around with it. But then to change it as an answer key, all you need to do over here is click in what you want the answer to be. What I've found is that questions that are multiple choice grade very well, whereas questions that are paragraphs or short answers, you need to go in and physically grade them yourself and give them a specific score. I would also recommend, if you're going to do a quiz, that the first question that you create always be the question, what is your name? Because otherwise it will show up as a student number instead of their actual name. You can write instructions and a title to start it all up. Also over on the side, since we are currently in a point where we're not grading anything, you want to click it as ungraded, but you could also add in a rubric down on the bottom that could be your engagement rubric. Assignments are similar to quizzes, except the students are going to assign something. Now, one important thing, if you are creating an assignment and you have like a worksheet that you want to upload or something like that, I'll quickly upload a file that I have. I don't even know if I have a file on this computer. Okay, so I'll just click in an old assignment that I had in here. So I have it in Google Docs. Right now, there are 3 options that you can click for each assignment. Students can view, which means they can click into it and they can see the instructions, and that's it. Students can edit. I would not recommend doing unless you want everybody to see every single other student's response, but it also creates some issues where students can erase other people's posts and everything. So 9 times out of 10, I do not allow students to edit the file because it also changes your main file as well. And then the one I typically recommend using is the make a copy for each student. When you make a copy for each student, it will show up for every single student that's in your class, and it'll say like Megan Pankos - the Earth and Space would be the name of the file. And every student can go in and edit their individual ones, and it will show up here as they do their work. Just like you're posting, you could also schedule. Right now I am making a lot of scheduled items for my classes where it will pop up that I am planning it, but it is not specifically assigned yet. Material, when you click there, it doesn't have a spot for students to actually turn anything in, so this is a good place to put instructions, or if you have specific videos that you want kids to watch but you don't necessarily need them to do any questions with it, this is a great place to put those materials. And then finally, one of the most useful buttons in the whole world of online classes is the reuse post. To show you that, I'm actually going to click back over into my normal Google Classroom. So I have a planning group with both of the 5th grade and 6th grade classes. So this is shared with Miss Groom and Miss Wallace. So when I click into it, you can see that we have been sharing materials with each other in here. Now, why that's helpful is when we click into our normal class and we go under the classwork tab, you can always click create, reuse post, and then you can pick any of the videos or activities or anything that you have in here that you can share immediately to your regular Google Classroom. Now, one of the main questions that has popped up with that has to do with shared drives. So I know a lot of us are in shared drives, and some of us may be doing our planning in those shared drives. One major issue that a lot of people have been having is that they can't post something. It'll come up with a little red exclamation point on the assignment that they can't post because the files cannot be attached. That's because if you are creating it in a shared drive, the only people that will have access to that material are the people that are in the drive. So for example, If I wanted to post an assignment from the 2018-2019 school year, I would only have the members that were in this group that I could add. So none of the kids would be able to see it. None of the kids would be able to do the assignments. To change that, what you would have to do is you'd have to click in and you'd have to click add to my drive. So, or move to my drive, or make a copy, and you'd have to put that copy in your drive specifically. If they are in your drive, they will be easy to access for all students, and all students can have an easily made copy. Final area I want to talk about is in the topics. Topics are really helpful to arrange your materials. So if I create a topic, one of the main topics I do when we're in school is a topic called to do, which means that the kids have that they need to be working on. And I usually keep that up at the top. As you can see now in my classes, what I have up at the top is important information. But on the side, if a student were to have missed a couple weeks of work, they could go back to April 20th and see exactly the work that they had to complete for April 20th or the 27th and decide what they need to do for that. Now, another thing that I've been asked questions about is about grading classwork and seeing grades. So, the nice thing about the grade book is it easily tells you when students have turned something in, when you've graded it and looked over it, and when it has not been turned in and the date has passed. So for example, if you see over here, all the check marks mean that I've gone through, I've made comments on their work, and I've returned it to them. You can see when students have submitted it late. You can see when students have it turned in and are waiting for it to be assessed. To see what an individual student got, all you need to do is click on the student specifically. And then you can click into each of the different assignments and view the details. So, if anyone has any questions on anything on Google Classroom specifically, please feel free to ask. I'm here and can answer any questions that you have for the most part. Thank you guys.